And we are live on another edition of the K&K Sports Show, March 23rd, 2022. The co-crew is here. Huge news today. I'm a happy Bronco fan again. Tyreek Hill is out of the division. We don't have to worry about him. And Mr. Kirkpatrick, I'll go to you first. But Mr. Kirkpatrick, are we the favorites in the AFC West?
I'm going to get into that a little later. I won't answer that now, but that's on one of our football topics today. So, and we got Bronco Mania later, so that's a good topic for Bronco Mania. So we'll talk about that later. But how's everybody doing? You know, Sis, second week down here in Maryland, has Alabama gear on tonight. Mr. Rosen's with us in Florida as always. Sunny, warm Florida, I'm sure. It's
yes,
cold
it
over
is.
here today and rainy, but that's March in Maryland. You know, 40 at the beginning of the month, and then 80 the next day, 40 the next day. 2 weeks from now, we'll have summer.
And Mr. Kirkpatrick,
I'm ready to roll.
we got a comment. Good evening, gents, from the birthday boy, our good friend David Slade. Happy birthday yesterday, Dave.
David,
Happy birthday, Dave.
Was it
Happy
yesterday
belated,
or
my
Monday?
friend.
What, yesterday or Monday?
Yesterday was.
Yesterday,
It was yesterday.
yesterday.
I was at work. Yep.
Yesterday. So happy birthday, Dave.
Happy birthday, Dave.
I'd love to get Dave's comments later on. Coach Breslin saying, "What's up, guys? What's up, Coach?"
Hey, Coach.
And Mr. Rosen, how are you tonight?
Good evening, gents. Another day, another trade shocker in the NFL. It's almost become one a day deals here. Crazy offseason. So Kenny and Sis. So after 1 week, how's it going down there? You guys are, I think, the new odd couple.
Yeah.
What I want to know is who's Felix and who's Oscar.
I'm Felix for sure.
And Mr. Siciliano, how are you, my friend?
Good.
Everything's good. I mean, he's got his Bama gear back on, so he must be happy. He's rocking the red. He's not rocking the blue with the Seton Hall. We'll get into that later on. But Mr. Kirkpatrick, what's on the agenda tonight?
A little bit of March Madness, of course. We got NFL football, lots of NFL football talk every day. Every day there's something new to talk about. And baseball is a couple weeks away, so we've got to throw some Major League Baseball talk in the mix as well. But let's start off the show the right way. Let's start off the show with Kurt's quick hitters.
All right, what I'm going to do is, since we're still learning with the mics here, so I will, I'm going to go Kenny, Paul, and then I'll go Kenny, Paul, and Sis for every question. Okay, Kenny? So you could answer, then get the mic ready for Sis.
Sure.
All right, I got, I think 10 of them. Here we go. College basketball we're going to start with. Kenny, which coach left in the Sweet 16 would you want coaching your team? You could pick one coach that's left.
I hate to say it. I may have to go Coach K. Coach K.
Okay, Paul?
I'm going with Jay Wright.
I'm with you. That's mine too. I'm taking Jay Wright. And Mr. Sis, which coach would you take that's left in the Sweet 16 if you want to coach your team?
Coach Calipari.
Well, he's not in. He's out.
Oh, I thought you said out. I'm sorry. I'd have to say the guy from Kansas.
Okay, Bill Self. Good
Bill
one.
Self. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kirkpatrick, coming back from you. In the NCAA tournament, okay, if you had a team, would you rather have 3 freshman studs or would you rather have a team of 4-year between majority junior and senior laden teams?
Need a freshman studs. Give me the freshman studs.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, I'll go with talent over maybe consistency any day. So give me the 3 freshman studs.
All right. Sis, would you rather have the 3 freshman studs or would you have a team full of juniors and seniors that have played 3 and 4 years?
Yep. I'd rather have the experienced kids.
All right. You know what? I'm going to pull with Sis on this one because, I don't know, man. It hasn't worked the other way. It just has not worked. So I'm going to go with Sis. Caleb Davis, our good friend. Good evening, fellas. At work, turning away while eating. He's saying he'll take the senior-led team also. All right.
Caleb, thanks for joining us. Caleb's got a new show on the Rocky Mountain Network.
Yeah, he had
Between
our
the
guy
Innings.
Beelan on. It was
Our
good.
guy Beelan's on. Check them out. Good stuff over at Rocky Mountain Sports.
Kenny, is St. Peter's for real?
You got to give them credit. I'd say they're for real. They won 2 games. They're for real. But now, usually these 15 seeds or any of those double-digit teams, a week off, usually that momentum disappears. So I'm expecting Purdue to, unfortunately, blow them out this week.
Coach Breslin saying, how good are the juniors or seniors? I would want them in a tournament.
Right.
Experience,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Paul, St. Peter's for real?
I mean, you got, like Kenny just said, definitely have to give them credit for the 2 wins, but I think the clock is going to strike midnight and Cinderella is going to turn into the pumpkin, unfortunately for them.
All right. Sis, St. Peter's for real?
I think they are, but I think it's the end of the road for them this weekend.
Sis, I'm with you. That's a second one tonight, sis. I'm with you. Too much size. Caleb saying March, baby. Anything can happen. Kenny, have you yet and will you watch the women's basketball tournament?
I haven't yet, but I think I will. Like last year, the championship game was a phenomenal game between Arizona and UConn. That game was phenomenal. So I think I will watch, the Final Four or the championship game. Yeah.
Paul, have you watched and will you watch?
I have not, unfortunately, but I definitely will. So my schedule is a little more settled down this next week or so. So definitely.
Sis, what about you? Have you watched and will you watch?
I watched some of the girls' NIT game last night, Seton Hall, but I haven't watched any of the majors. No.
How did they do, Sis, Seton Hall?
They advanced.
Oh, they won.
They advanced.
Yeah, I have watched a little bit, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's a lot of upsets. I'll tell you that. The girl Iowa, she's supposedly, one of the best players in the country. She was 4 for 19 on Sunday. They got upset at home. So there's been some upsets. Bobby.
Yeah, I texted your wife 2 weeks ago. They got a 5'6" guard, Seton Hall. Phenomenal.
Good.
Shoots the trees like Jordan. I mean, I was like, I was still living up in Jersey. I'm watching this game like, is this kid for real? She was unbelievable.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm pumped up. I'm definitely gonna watch it. Bobby Blackjack saying, "What's Kurt doing in my media courtside seat?" You guys can't see it, but you go back. I got a nice little March Madness picture. Henry Zimenoff, our good friend. What was the biggest upset win so far this season anyway? We'll get into that in a second, Kenny, when we go March Madness. I got a couple more quick hitters. I want to move to the NFL. Sis.
Real quick, Kurt, I want to mention Baylor getting upset in the women's.
Yeah, Baylor.
South Dakota State.
Yep.
First time they've ever lost to in like 10 years to an unranked team.
That game started 11-0 South Dakota State, and they held on. Bobby Blackjack is saying she's great. Lauren Park Lane is the name from Seton Hall. So that's the girl you're probably talking about, sis. Lauren Park Lane.
Her name is Lane. I know who she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny, I'll go back to you. NFL. Where's Baker Mayfield going to wind up?
Oof, this was going to be one of my NFL topics, but I'll answer it. Okay, let's answer it now. We could because I'll add to the topic later. I'm going to say. Jeez, that's tough. Let's go Carolina.
Paul.
I know it's quick hitters, but give me 2 seconds. Carolina was on my list. Seahawks and Texans were the other two. There's one other team that just shouts out at me, and I'm gonna throw this out, and it's a crazy prediction, but I'm gonna say the Eagles might go after Baker Mayfield.
I
Only
like it.
watching Jalen Hurts play that playoff game against the Bucks, he was horrible. And I think the Eagles might think they're one quarterback away from maybe perhaps, extending themselves into a deeper run. So I'm going to throw it out there and say,
Sis.
I'm not sure where he goes, but I would bank on this. He's going to go somewhere and be a backup.
Now, I'm going to throw in that, sis. You tell me if I'm crazy for this, okay? And I heard this. First off, I did hear this, Kenny, that the two ones that they've been putting up is Seattle and Carolina, and supposedly he prefers Seattle over Carolina. Again, I don't know what control he has, but he prefers Seattle thing. But sis, getting back to what you said about a backup, I don't know if they would ever do this, but doesn't Baker Mayfield remind you of a Pittsburgh Steeler? Like, I'm putting him over Mitch Trubisky. I'm sorry. I am.
Kurt, that's why I said, I thought along those lines with like you're thinking of the Steelers. I'm saying to myself,
exactly. Eagles.
This guy isn't
thing.
an Eagle, a Philadelphia type Eagle. Just to add to this, Skip Bayless today apparently said the Giants should go all in and go after Baker Mayfield, which I don't even want to get into it, but that to me is
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either.
No, neither do I.
All right, next one. The AFC is like, especially the AFC West. I mean, it's the SEC now, or football. Everyone's coming to the AFC. So, Mr. Kirkpatrick, right now with what you know, from 1 to 3, you go number 1, number 2, number 3. Kenny, give me your top 3 quarterbacks in the AFC.
Mahomes, number 1.
Yep.
I'm going to go Josh Allen, number 2. And I'm going to go Russell Wilson, number 3.
Paul.
I'm gonna go Russell Wilson number 1, Mahomes 2, and Josh Allen. Mahomes 2 and Josh Allen 3. Yeah, leave it at that.
Sis.
Josh Allen, Mahomes, Wilson.
All right. I'm going to go, not going to be a homer here. I'm going to go Mahomes 1, Russell Wilson 2, Josh Allen 3, but Burrow making sure he wants Burrow saying he wants to get in. Stephen Waldman is saying, what's up, guys? What's up, Steve?
Hey, Steve.
All right, Kenny. The 2-part question here. Part 1. I'm going to ask you both, okay? I'm going to ask you both, and then I'll go to Paul. Part A of the question. Did Aaron Rodgers know Davante Adams was going to leave before he signed this deal?
No.
Okay. Part 2. Is Aaron Rodgers to blame for Davante Adams going to the Raiders?
Yes.
Okay. Couple questions real quick. Henry Zimenoff, there's no way Miami makes it to the Super Bowl with Hill on the team now, can they? We'll get into that in a second, too. I don't think Super Bowl. Carson Claus, have a good show, guys. What's going on, Carson? Sis is going to, I want to hear Sis's opinion on this one later. Stephen Waldman saying sanity has returned to New York City. Unvaccinated Mets and Yankees will be able to play at home. Announcements coming tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Breaking news, Kyrie. Any entertainer, athlete can do it, but like a cop, a fireman cannot. So it's going to be crazy what's going on.
This is the...
I said it.
You
it last
did.
week. That's all I'm going to say. That's going to get into Sis's segment, which is coming up.
Right.
That's going to change things.
All right, Paul.
I'll turn it to Sis. I'm going to mute
Part
myself.
Part A. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got to get... I go to Paul. Did Aaron Rodgers know Adams was going to leave before he signed?
No, I don't believe he did.
Is Aaron Rodgers to blame that Rodgers went to the Raiders?
I don't think he's to blame, but clearly he wanted his piece of the action, so to speak, and he got his. So that's all that matters to Aaron Rodgers, I think.
Mr. Sis, did Rodgers know Adams was going to leave?
Absolutely not.
And is he to blame for Rodgers leaving?
No, the money is.
Okay. Couple more. NBA, two-part Zion question, Kenny. Zion hasn't played this year. Okay? He's showing videos of him dunking. The Pelicans are going to be right now, the Pelicans will probably be in a playoff, the play-in to get to the playoffs. Zion hasn't touched a court all year, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Question 1. Should he play in this play-in game if he could play?
My philosophy, no, but don't let him. If he can play, he's going to play.
All right, and question 2, if you're the Knicks this offseason, should you trade for him, mortgage assets for him?
Yes.
Paul, Zion hasn't played. Should he play in the play-in game?
Absolutely not.
And would you get him if you're as a Knicks fan? Do you want Zion?
Add more misery to the pile. Absolutely not.
Mr. Sis, should Zion play? He hasn't played all year. Now, should he play in this play-in game?
Wouldn't be able to run up and down the court 2 times, number 1. Then number 2, I wouldn't want him on the Knicks.
Okay.
I think he's a stiff. I really do.
Coach Breslin saying Zion, he does not want to be on the Pelicans. He is too big. I think his career is not going to be long. Don't want him.
Kurt,
Right.
what's your opinion on it? I need yours.
Yeah.
I don't think honestly, I wouldn't play him in the play-in game, but yeah, I do want him as a Knick. I do. I think the Knicks are the only. I just think the Garden. I think he wants to be a Knick. I do. I think he wants to be a Knick, and I think that it's sad to say, part of a plan to get out of New Orleans. I would take a shot with him. I would.
But do you think he's disrespecting himself and the game of basketball by doing that?
Yeah, but then I could also say that about all these NFL players this year, Wilson and Rodgers and Hill, that are saying, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to get out of my contract. I want to go here. I want to go money. So I just think it's the athletes now. I do. James Harden got out of 2 teams in 2 years. I mean, it's he what did he do? Put the fat suit on and said, I'm fat. Get me out of Houston. The next thing you know, he shows up in Brooklyn. He's all skinny. How's that happen?
Yeah.
You know,
He listened to Jenny Hoops.
Yeah, Jenny Hoops has got him good. All right, 2 more, Kenny. 2 more, Kenny, real quick. Are the Yankees being cheap?
No, I don't want to say cheap.
Paul, Yankees
They're
being cheap?
being cautious with all this. Now let's see what happens now with players being able to play now. Let's see what happens now.
Paul, Yankees being cheap?
This is about as miserly I've seen in the last 40 years since the Steinbrenners have owned the team. So, yeah, I would say yes, they're being cheap.
Sis, Yankees being cheap?
Yep.
I'm with Sis a little bit.
Like always.
I'm with Sis. Okay, 2 more. Promise you, I'll be done. MLB baseball. Kenny, does Freddie Freeman signing with the Dodgers make them the overwhelming favorites to win the World Series?
Yes, and I would say they were overwhelming favorites before Freeman was there as well.
Paul?
Yes, but that doesn't always necessarily mean they will win the World Series.
Sis?
Repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Does Freddie Freeman signing make the Dodgers the overwhelming favorites to win the World Series?
No, the only thing it guarantees is he's got 160 million in his bank account.
Right.
That's about it.
Coach sorry, Sis.
All right. Yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Coach Breslin saying they have a seat for him on the Knicks. He can sit next to Tibbs talking about Zion. Mark Calderio. Good evening, guys. Just to let you know, my son just won an award for wrestling, most outstanding wrestling as a freshman. Congratulations, nice. Mark and your son.
Nice job.
All right, last one, Mr. Kirkpatrick. The weather is getting, listen, this doesn't really count for Paul because the weather is getting nice is every day of the year for him. But in our areas, the weather is getting nice now, right? So the saying they do, sun's out, guns out. So let's see the guns, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Let's see what you got going on.
There ain't no guns.
Well, let's see the guns. You got to show it. Mr. Rosen, let's see the guns.
Oh, God.
Here's the gun. And Mr. Sis, this is going to be the real gun show. That's the gun show. Those are the gun shows. Those are the quick hitters, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Nice.
Awesome. Love it. All right, well, let's move on, guys. Again, Sis and I were in the same household now and doing our best to unmute each other. We're having technical difficulties with the echoes, so bear with us. Me and Sis are going to go simultaneously speaking as best as we can without any interruptions or echoes in the background. So let's do a little March Madness. We'll start off with March Madness. I'll run the show here. I'll ask you guys the questions, and I'll do the order. Kurt, Sis, Paul, and then myself. This way it's not me and Sis back to back, and I got time to unmute us here. Out of the upsets in round 1 and 2, the teams that advanced to the Sweet 16, Kurt, I'll name a few, and there can be an etc. St. Peter's, Miami, North Carolina, Michigan, or etc. Who do you think has the best chance to get to the Elite Eight and possible Final Four? Iowa State, you could throw in there. Who else? You could throw Houston in there as a 5 seed, maybe. Anything
You know
under a
what?
4
I'm
seed.
going to say this is going to be, it's going to sound crazy. I'm going to pick Miami because they got the, Mark is saying Michigan, they got these guards, man. It's a guard tournament, and these guards are old. These guards have played. They got experience, and Jimmy Larinaga is a damn good coach. So I'm going to pick Miami, and I think Miami is going to beat Iowa State. So I think they got a nice, not that it's an easy game, but I think it's, you know, they should win that one. And then they go to Kansas or Providence. Listen, Dave's with me. He's going Miami. I'm going Miami.
Nice. Let's go to Sis. One and two, Sis. St. Peter's advanced, Miami, North Carolina, Michigan, etc. Who do you think can make it to the Elite Eight and Final Four?
Just one team?
Yes.
I'll go with Kurt with Miami.
I like it.
I don't know if you got me muted or.
No, I hear you, Ken. I hear you, sis. We hear you.
No, I like it. And Paul, how about you? Who's your team here?
I'm going to go and sort of piggyback what you said last week. Arkansas has impressed me, and I think another number 1 team is going to go down, and I think Arkansas is going to beat Gonzaga, and that's what I'm going to predict.
That's bold. That's bold.
That is bold.
Yeah.
Can he hear me now? Now he can.
I'm here when Sis talked before I heard him, Kenny. He
I
was
did
good.
too.
Yeah.
Mute. Just leave it alone.
We're going to get the echo.
If you get the echo, then go back to it.
Okay.
Can you hear me now, Kurt?
Yes, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Am I getting an echo?
That's fine for now. We can leave it. Let's
All
try.
right, my team is North Carolina.
Okay.
I think UCLA this week, if they can get, did UCLA they're playing this week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they can get by them, they're in the Elite Eight, and then I forget who else is in that bracket. But,
Purdue, St. Peter's is
Purdue,
in that
St.
bracket.
Peter's.
and we know Purdue, Painter, they'll probably get by St. Peter's, but Purdue, I'm going to take North Carolina upsetting Purdue there, and this could be your Final Four team here in North Carolina. My next question, Kurt, I'll start with you. Duke, Sweet 16. How far are they going to go now?
Listen, this is tough because, I mean, I'm going to say this. I was watching a game with Hoops, and Duke's up all game, and Michigan State, I give Izzo credit, man. That's why he's one of the best, if not the best. And they go up by 5 on Duke, and I'm like, I don't know if Duke can respond from this. Bang, here comes Duke. Those kids responded. I think this is going to be a tough one, though, because they're an offensive team. Texas Tech is one of, if not the best defensive teams. I'm going to pick Duke in this, but Gonzaga, I think it's Gonzaga's year, so I don't think they'll get by Gonzaga. I'm going to pick them to get to the Elite Eight, though, Kenny. Then
How far does Duke go? Is this it, Sweet 16, or are they going to go further?
This is the end of the road for them this weekend.
Okay. Paul, how about you? How far do you think they're going to go?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sis. I think Texas Tech is going to really clamp down on Duke, and they just don't have the shooting to respond. And unfortunately, it'll be Coach K's last game.
I think they're going to get by Texas Tech in a nail biter. But like Kurt said, if Arkansas or Gonzaga face Duke, I think their road's going to end in the Elite Eight. That's going to be my prediction for Duke. I got one more question, and then you guys can all ask something if you want. ACC, Kurt, what's the terrible conference during the year? Kind of reminds you of Pac-12 last year. What's the reason for their success in this tournament? You got Miami as a 10 seed, North Carolina an 8 seed, and Duke all still alive and very well alive and decent shots to get to not only the Elite Eight, but Final Four.
Well, you know what? I mean, Miami, and it's why I wanted to ask you guys about the freshman studs and or the senior or junior laden teams. But this Miami team, man, listen, it's guard play, right? Like, all three teams have good guards. I mean, they're shooting the lights. Carolina's shooting the lights out versus Baylor with the threes. You know, they got the kid with the beard. He got the guy thrown on me. I know he's like a forward, but he's like a shooting forward. So he'll come out. You know, the Miami guards are unbelievable. And listen, Duke's got guard. It's a guard league. They have guards. You know, I don't know if I want to put Hubert Davis in a good coach, but Larinaga, Kenny, we know he's a great coach, right? Coach K, one of the best of all time. So guards and coaching in this tournament, I think that's why.
Not only those three teams, Paul, Notre Dame won 2 games.
Right.
The play-in game, and then they won their first round. They upset in the first round. They made it.
Yeah.
They almost made it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
What do you think is the reason for the ACC's success in this tournament when they had such a bad down year and only had a few teams in the tournament?
I think because a lot of these top teams got beat early, gave the other teams confidence, and I think that's why they're there now.
Good answer. And Paul, how about you?
Yeah, I think when it comes down the stretch, these teams are gearing themselves specifically for the tournament, and they may not play good in their conference championships and in their tournaments, but once they get into March Madness, I think they start really, especially in terms of Duke and North Carolina, really, I don't want to say concentrating, but really rising to the level of where they should have been. So I think for these three teams, I think they're getting to the point right now where they probably could have been all year, but now is the perfect time to be playing the way that they are.
Yep. Kurt, you have any questions about the March Madness tournament?
Yeah, you know, I'm going to start, and I'm going to start with I'll start with Sis first. You know, we always joke here, Sis, whether it's college football or NFL, whatever it is, but you know, we joke around with coaching and how important coaching is, right? You know, you look at teams, and I'm going to name three, and I might be a little bitter because I had these in my bracket, but you know what? Fran McCaffrey in Iowa. Every year, Fran McCaffrey in Iowa, zoop, nothing in the tournament. You know, all you keep hearing is they have the kid, I forgot his name, Keegan Murray. Big Ten Player of the Year, Keegan Murray, right? Player of the Year. He went 12 minutes, not 12 minutes of on the bench, in the game against Richmond. 12 minutes without a shot. How the hell does that happen? Seriously. Like, where is the timeout? Oh, no more threes. Get him the ball. Where is it? Right? Next guy, Rick Barnes. We laugh all you want. Here comes Rick Barnes from Texas. Now we're going to put him with Tennessee. Hottest team in the country. He faces Michigan. He's up 6, 4 minutes to go. Subbing in, subbing out. I don't know what he's doing, but another guy. No press. What's he doing?
I got a better one. The coach on Iowa.
Right. The coach on right. But sis, they got Hunter Dickinson, Michigan, right? The big guy. When are you going to double him? When are you going to double him, Tennessee? Right? Dickerson with a layup. No, nothing there. And here's the third one, sis. Here's the third one. Brad Underwood from Illinois. 2 years in a row. Kofi Coburn, right? You got Frazier, Plummer. You got the kid Curbelo. You're watching this game against Houston. Don't take nothing wrong. First off, he should have lost to who did he play in the first? Chattanooga. He got lucky in that game, right? So now you're playing Houston. And all they're doing is they're saying, just get the ball inside to Kofi. They're going to double or triple, then skip it opposite for the three. What does Illinois do? Come down three. Come down. How do you not give the ball to Kofi Coburn?
Well, notice where he was standing. He was on top of the key.
I mean, seriously. It's 2 years in a row. He can't get out of – he couldn't beat Loyola Chicago, and he couldn't beat Houston. Now, I just don't get it. How you don't give him the ball? Like, I'm laughing. I'm telling Jen, just give it to him every time. Go to the hole or kick it out to a three. They're coming down, shooting threes. Now you go on the other side, right? Jay Wright, every year. Villanova's going to be down. Jay Wright, man, winner, got him for championship ready. Jimmy Larinaga, another guy, comes to Miami. They're right back in. Now in Sweet 16. Two more teams that lost. I'm sorry, one more. Ed Cooley from Providence. Okay? Ed Cooley from Providence. Oh, Providence is down. I give Kenny credit. Providence is down. You know what? Providence blew the doors off of Richmond. That's what Iowa should have did, is blow the doors off them. That's the difference. And the last one, Kenny, we talked about it off air. Doug McDermott. This guy played Kansas without his freshman point guard. He played without his 7-foot sophomore center. Next year, those two guys are back, and they got the kid Alexander, and what's the other one? Kaluma back. That team buys stock in them now. That's the difference. Sis, I'll get to you. How bad and how important is coaching in this tournament?
It's very important. Whether it's basketball, football, hockey, girls lacrosse, whatever. If you don't see, the thing is, and you know this because you coach, if you don't know what you're talking about, you ain't fooling these kids, man. Kids are smart.
But sis, 2 years in a row, right? Your team, you've been high on Illinois, right? They got the most dominant player in college basketball, and that's your performance 2 years in a row. That's your performance.
That's your coaching.
I mean, come on. Like, how do you just let them? The guy Plummer and Frazier, they're like 2 for 40 from three, and they just keep letting them shoot. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yep. Kenny, what's your comments on that?
Side here with Sis, and Kurt from back in the day with your dad. We like watching horse racing, so we turned on TVG and we were watching a little horse racing, Sis and I. And the announcer said he was friends with Arkansas assistant coach. And he personally texted him, "Oh, we got downtime and we're watching TVG in the hotel room. 3 hours before your game, you're watching horse racing?" They almost lost to Vermont. Now, coaching's important, but so is the assistant coaching. So, it's the whole coaching staff is important. When you got your coaches sitting in a hotel room watching horse racing 3 hours before game time, that's a problem in my book.
To relax them.
Yeah.
Coach Breslin's saying preparation is so important and adjusting.
He best at both.
Yep, he is.
So, yeah, I mean, coaching's definitely important.
Paul, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, how could I disagree with that? But to piggyback what you just said, Kurt, all we heard, the greatest conference, Big Ten, greatest conference, Big Ten, all of a sudden, they all come in. How many teams went in? 8, 9?
8, I think 8.
8 went in. We're looking at, what, 3 out of 8, and many of them played horribly, and many of them who were highly ranked went out without a whimper. So, I mean, you're right. The coaching of some of these teams, you question them. you sit there and you just shake your head.
Sis, I remember watching on TNT before Sunday, and people were saying, oh my God, Michigan State, they have to walk the ball up because if they play with Duke, they're going to get run right out of right off the court. And look what Izzo did that day. Izzo was like, you know what Izzo's game plan was? Duke is not good defensively. We're going to push the ball at Duke. And you know what?
Yep.
Honestly, when you look at it, those guys probably don't belong on the court with Duke. I mean,
Right.
Duke's got 5 number 1 draft picks this year, they're saying. 5, right? And you know what? Izzo had that team probably a minute and 30 away from beating them. And that just shows you how good Izzo as a coach is.
Yep.
Can I jump the order since we're talking about coaches?
Sure.
And ask a question to the three of you? And more like a quick hitter question. And if your answer goes a certain way, I'll give you a follow-up question. Mark Few, coach in Gonzaga, Kurt. Mark Few. 1, is he a good coach? First, is he a good coach?
Yes.
2, if they lose now and they don't win a championship again this year when they're in the number 1 team, you start thinking about maybe looking elsewhere for a head coach in Gonzaga.
Listen, people think I'm crazy, and I know Mr. Siciliano is going to laugh at this, but listen, I can't be a hypocrite because then I would be BSing. And you know what? I'm not going to do that because 3 years ago, what did I say, sis, at our dinner table? And I said, if Tony Bennett doesn't win a national championship this year, he should go and get somebody in there that's going to win it. So you know what, Kent? You know what? Yeah, because the name of the game now is to win these big games. So yeah, maybe.
And go get a big name coach if he doesn't win it this year. Paul, how about you? What's your feelings on it? I'm going to bring Beelan in, guys, so we'll say hello to him after we answer this question.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a good coach. He's done it for a few years, but like Kurt just said, I mean, you get to a point where alumni, donators, all of these people who are looking for this guy to finally break through, and if he doesn't, something's probably going to be done. I mean, it doesn't sound good, but that's the reality of big time college basketball, big time college football. I mean, it's a win or else.
By the way, Matt Staffiero, our great friend, is saying rock chalk Jayhawk.
There you go, Matt.
I'm
What's
riding
up,
with Matt Staffiero tomorrow night. I'm Friday. I'm taking him. By the
Sis,
way, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kenny.
That's your thoughts on Mark Few. Good coach, 1, and it's just it for him if he doesn't win it this year.
Again, if you don't win it this year, you're gone. It's so hard to say, man. So I really don't have an opinion on that, to be honest with you.
Okay, Beelan, welcome to the show. You are joining late. Our
By
question
the way,
was,
Kenny, real
March
quick,
Madness.
wait, can I introduce Mr. Beelan?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Beelan, I'm going to be honest. My heart goes out to you and Jet fans today. Because if you guys don't know, basically the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins and the Chiefs, they both agreed the Chiefs agreed to trade with both teams. And everyone's like, the Jets are going to have to give up number 10 and number 14. And Joe Douglas made a deal where if he chose the deal that the Kansas City Chiefs agreed to trade with the Jets was for number 36, 38, and 69. And you would have had Tyreek Hill. And it came down to Tyreek Hill picking Miami over the Jets. So Jet fans, I mean, basically you could have went from honestly a playoff team to what and you had that deal and you guys would have been able to pick number 4, number 10 and have Tyreek Hill. It's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Beelan, my heart goes out to you guys because you could have had Trevor Lawrence ain't doing anything, and Tyreek Hill. But
listen, at the end of the day, I can't be mad at Douglas for
you can't.
putting together something. But Hill was going to get. It didn't matter if Hill was going to be there or if he was going to just wait it out another year for the Chiefs. He was going to get a contract somewhere. But he lives in Miami. There's no income tax. It makes more sense. You know what I mean?
Tax.
Yeah, the state tax. Sorry, yeah. you know, so it made more sense for him. I got it. I was all over Twitter today about it. Like, you know, you can't get mad at him. But I mean, listen, it's a sweet deal. Give out 2 second rounds in the third round.
It's home run.
Oh my God.
And they're saying the thing that's crazy is if it wasn't like Hill's last year in the contract, that Kansas City preferred. If you look at the point system, the Jet deal was better than the
value
deal.
of the draft
The
pick.
value.
Yeah. Well, next up is DK Metcalf, so we'll see.
Coach Breslin saying too many picks. Great deal for the Chiefs.
Yeah. Kurt, let's move on. Anything else really quick on college basketball, guys? Paul, I'll give you the choice. Do you want to go NFL or Major League Baseball as our next sport topic?
Let's do baseball.
Want to go with baseball?
Join us.
All right. I know you and Sis both have a segment here. Sis, do you want to? Let's do Paul's real quick, and then Sis will do yours with the AL NL East preview right after Paul.
Okay. I'm glad Beelan's here because it's good that I want to get his feeling on this too. So maybe we'll start. We'll do Beelan, Kurt. Well, let's do Beelan, Sis, Kurt, and then Kenny. All right. Obviously, Freddie Freeman has gone to the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, I don't know if you guys heard, Chipper Jones essentially criticized him, talking about, well, maybe he shouldn't have taken that money. Maybe he should have waited the Braves out. Maybe he shouldn't have needed that extra year, blah, blah, blah. I think it's very critical for either an ex-athlete or even a current athlete to be criticizing someone else's decision on whether or not he's doing something that's going to better him and his family situation. So I want to get your feeling on that. And like I said, let's start Beelan, Kurt, Sis, Beelan, Sis, Kurt, and then Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know if it betters his career. I mean, he is from LA, so it made sense why he picked there. I'm not mad at him for that. I was okay with him going to LA. I just didn't want him to be up in a Yankee or a Met uniform. So, you know, that was up to me. But I mean, for the additional year and for what they were giving him, I'm kind of with Chipper a little bit, man, because at the end of the day, it's like it's just 1 year. You know what I mean? It's just like, and the way the baseball is going, you know, in 6 years from now, even if you were not as good as you were, you still might make $25-30 million a year. You know, so
yeah.
I mean, for the extra year, man, let's see how it pans out. I mean, listen, he's 30, I think 32 now. He's going to be 33 during the season. 6 years from now, he's going to be 38, 39 years old. If he doesn't go all 6 years, you got to give it up to Chipper. You know, I mean, it's just how many guys play until they're 39 years old in Major League Baseball at a high level.
But do you think it's okay for an athlete to criticize someone else as opposed to just, hey, I'm going to make a decision. This is best for my team and my family.
It's an opinion on a guy he's a hitting coach for the Braves as well. They're very good friends too. You know, he's been in an organization. Chipper's one of the guys who's been there his whole organization, pretty much his whole career.
Oh, I know that. Believe me.
So, you know, he thought Freeman was probably going to be doing the same exact thing. And honestly, it would have been nice if he was there. He just won a championship too with them, you know, and you know, I don't know, man. It's like a 50-50 with me. It's like, it's okay, but it's not okay. You know, and the whole like family thing and everything, it's like wherever this guy could have moved to Wyoming and he still would have been fine. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like these guys are making $25-30 million a year. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? And I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm 50-50 with it.
Yeah. Sis, what do you think?
Chipper Jones was a great player when he played. I don't know how people think, but this is my opinion. You saw the guy get $160 million. He was never offered that kind of money, not even close to it. So there's probably a little jealousy in there or whatever. It's human nature. I don't think anybody worth that kind of money, but that's just me. It's getting ridiculous now. It really is. I'm so tired of listening to it. 230 million for a guy that's got 11.
Kenny, you're gonna have to mute Kenny.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead, sis.
No, I'm just saying. You're giving a guy $230 million. He's got 11 charges against him. What are they going to do? Come in the fourth game of the season and cuff him, take him off the field? I mean, I'm laughing, but it's ridiculous. It really is. But that's my take on that.
Kurt.
Listen, in baseball, it's a different animal because baseball, again, there's no salary cap. You just pay for whoever you want, right? I really don't have a problem with what Chipper Jones said. I agree with kind of what Sis said. There might be a little, even though they're friends, like he's saying, like they never had the opportunity to get that money. I mean, honestly, Chipper Jones is a better player than Freddie Freeman's ever going to be. I mean, guy's a Hall of Famer, Chipper Jones. Is Freddie Freeman going to be a Hall of Famer? So you look at it and you're like, I didn't make this money like what this guy's making. But going back to it, we say it time and time again, and you're looking now at these teams, and you look at Kansas City, right? And remember we had this conversation a couple months ago. Kansas City is going to be loaded for 10 years, Super Bowls and Super Bowls. Once you say to Mr. Mahomes, here's 48, gone. I'll tell you this, Mr. Mahomes, no more cheetah, right? You got a 33-year-old tight end, and you better take what's his name, Scantling, and you better make these guys now good, because just like Dallas lost Cooper, Dallas lost Collins, Dallas lost defensive guys, you're not going to get better. You're going to lose. I mean, you have $40 million quarterbacks.
Watch this.
You better deliver.
Kurt, I thought Beelan's got something to say, and I got something to say too. But if Aaron Rodgers was on the Broncos, you would have had the same situation.
No. Listen.
He's going to have the same situation in a year or two, because they're going to have to pay everybody on their team too. While they're paying Russell Wilson $45 million.
But here's my point, John. I'll say it again. It's so important. Basketball and baseball. We joke around. I was talking this. Well, I think it was Sis a couple weeks ago. We were saying Randall. You can't just go and say, sign Randall to 30, this guy to 30, because it catches up to you. Like in my opinion, though, think about this. In my opinion, you guys are gonna be crazy. You guys are gonna laugh. But as a Knicks fan, I'm paying this guy. I mean, we're not, but if I'm paying you max money, Julius Randle, you better do what Kevin Durant does, right? You're getting paid. I don't want to hear, well, they're not, well, they don't pay him that, right? So Prescott should do what Mahomes and Rodgers does. Allen should do what those guys do. And if you don't, that's on the team. That's why stupid deals. You don't give receivers $30 million. That's just stupid. Stupid.
He's right.
It's stupid.
Right.
But Kurt, you're seeing the trend on how the more the cap rises, that $30 million is nothing. It's going to be nothing compared to everything else. I'm telling you, like, if you're telling me Devontae Adams is not worth $30 million,
he's not.
Because he's going to smoke you guys this year.
No, he won't. No, he won't.
Let's finish the baseball topic.
Let's get back right. Let's get back. Kenny, what's your opinion?
Mine's quick. It's a business. I'm going last here, so everybody nailed it. But it comes down to it's a business, and there's no salary cap like Kurt said in baseball. So unfortunately, guys are going to get paid 200, 300. Soon there'll be a $400 million guy. Then there's going to be a $500,000 guy. Then 20 years from now there'll be a billionaire. It's just going to way baseball is going to be until they come up with some kind of form for a salary cap. And you all guys all nailed it. Probably a little jealousy, Chipper Jones, et cetera, et cetera.
But Kenny, the point though is, honestly, it's wasted money. Like, let's be totally realistic. What has Mike Trout done? Let's be and honestly, who would you say? Like, I'm going to give you DeGrom. Okay, and he hasn't won, but DeGrom is just unbelievable. Scherzer, unbelievable, right? Kershaw on the thing, but like Mike Trout and all these guys, Juan Soto, like, you're giving these guys for what? They're not like Chipper Jones was a better player than anybody playing today. Anybody.
No, but
Seriously.
Kurt,
But you know what, Kurt? I'll answer
Mike
it.
Trout is a terrible example because Mike Trout is like a 300 hitter for his career, banging out 30 to 40 home runs a year. He is the most consistent
But he
major
doesn't
league player
win.
out there
He
since he's been
doesn't
in the league.
win.
How much are they?
But he's on a team.
30
He's
million?
on a team that's not doing anything. How are you hurting him for that? He's
Well,
not
my
the
answer,
GM of the
Kurt,
team.
Well, my answer would be simple. You're making money off of Mike Trout still, no matter if you're
100%.
giving him 30 million. If they're making 40 or 50 million off him, they're making 20 million off of Mike Trout every year.
Right, but it'll be the same thing,
difference.
Kenny. This year, the Angels will be
I
41
agree
and
with you, Kurt.
60. 41 and 60. They'll trade Syndergaard, trade Rendon. It'll be the same story.
I agree with
Kurt,
you.
but why is that the Angels? Why is that Mike Trout's problem? He's not the GM.
Well, carry the team. You spent all the money. How do you not win with that team? Look at the lineup: Ohtani, Rendon, and Trout. That's the best probably 3, 4, 5 in baseball. You don't win.
And
We're going
their
off
best
script a little
pitchers,
bit
their
here,
best
guys.
hitter.
Let's stick to
Right.
let's stick to the formula. AL West is a couple weeks from now. Let's stick to the formula here. What else you got, Paul? You give us your take on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, no question, Chipper is the best player that the Braves have had in a long time. I think he has the right to criticize Freddie, but that being said, I think any athlete has the right to do what's best for him and his family. And if he felt that was a good fit, he felt he still had family down in Southern California where he grew up, you know, it should be his ability to go and do what's best for him. And hey, he brought the Braves championship and won in 26 years, Beelan. So you know what? The Braves, he felt, didn't negotiate fairly to him. In his opinion, I'm not saying they did or not. So he felt that once they made that trade for Olsen, that was it. That was the final nail, and he was going to do what he needed to do. So.
Yeah, but Paul, that trade was done knowing that he wasn't coming back. It wasn't done beforehand and made him go.
And,
like he already made a decision, and I think that he like gave the Braves like out of respect to saying, you know, before I sign this contract, like go do what you got to go and do.
Right, and if I was in the Braves position, that's what I would have done too. I mean, I'm waiting around until April 7th to decide whether he's coming back or not. So
listen, I'm not mad at the trade. I mean, Olsen's not Freddie Freeman, but I'm still not mad at the trade. You got a young dude who's coming up in Major League Baseball.
Oh, Bill, and you just nailed it. Young.
Yeah, I'm not too mad at it.
You know, you just nailed it. All right, boys. I want to do a little AL NL East preview. Each week leading up to opening day, we'll preview the different divisions. So we'll do an AL and NL. But before that, Sis, I know you had a segment, but it was news today that kind of conflicts with your segment. But still want you to do your segment about you were going to do the COVID restrictions in New York, which ironically got lifted today for athletes. So,
yeah, but that's okay. That pretty much it knocked my whole topic out tonight, which is fine because I'm glad it did, because I was watching Stephen A. this morning. I don't watch him too much, but Mad Dog was on, and he brought up a great point. He said, and I love this. He said, how can Kyrie Irving be allowed into the Barclays Center, sit in the stands, doesn't have to wear a mask, but he can't play? And then the other teams coming in, nobody has to wear a mask, nobody has to do anything. The fans don't have to be vaccinated. It's a joke. This is the best thing they did, because this Adams guy, don't forget, de Blasio is the one that implanted this theme of all these Democrats, but whatever. And I think Adams was under he's laughing, Paul's laughing. Adams was under so much pressure. Guess what? You're going to go to Yankee Stadium next Thursday when they open up against the Red Sox. You're not going to have Rizzo and Aaron Judge on the lineup. Are you kidding me? There would have been a riot. There would have been a riot there. So that was the majority of what was on my mind tonight. But you know what? I'm happy they did it because I said this from the beginning 2 years ago. Everybody, you got to get the shot. You got to get the shot. You got to get the shot. That's an individual thing, and I'm not knocking anybody that got it. Okay, but again, it's over. It's past. Thank God that it's going away. You know what I mean? But that's it. That's
Kenny, can I ask Sis something about that? Because somebody put, and I know Beelan's going to say you're on Twitter, but somebody asked an awesome question on Twitter, right? Because right now, what's lifted, Sis, is athletes and entertainers, right? So a cop still doesn't go to work, right?
Yeah.
A fireman still doesn't go to work. So they said Kyrie Irving, when he did this, said he's doing this because he doesn't believe anybody should lose their job for not getting the shot. So they're saying, how is that guy going to he can't still take the court on Sunday because if a cop can't do it, he still has to sit out, right? Because if he's not, then he's a fraud and a liar because he said he's standing for everybody who can't work in New York if they don't want to take the shot. So we're going to see what Kyrie Irving does. We're going to see what he does.
He's playing. He doesn't care.
Well, if he plays, then he's a fraud.
All I know, is
now.
I came on the air last week and said that NBA playoffs and MLB opening day, the mandate will be lifted. Now, I thought for the whole city of New York. Now, that is totally wrong if they're just doing it for athletes and entertainers.
Yes.
And they should really look into bylaws and see.
Well, they're going to get sued. They're going to have
It's-
lawsuits left and
You
right.
said that.
You're going to get sued big time.
Big time.
Yeah, you said that last week, Kurt.
Yep, they are.
It's a totally hypocritical position that they're taking on this.
Let's talk about the.
But Paul, Kenny, think about this,
Hey,
Kenny.
let's
Think
get
about
out
this.
of-
Real quick, one more thing, Kenny. Think about this. You could have a fireman, right? Sis, how crazy is this? You could have a fireman who they're going to say, if you don't get the shot, you can't go to work in New York City. But that same fireman can go now to a net game and watch the net game. With no mask.
And see Kyrie Irving play.
And see Kyrie Irving without him, not the shot play.
Go to Yankee Stadium.
Kurt, you know what it is? It's called the unions because they have to protect themselves and they have to protect the good and the bad. And that's why unions, excuse my French, suck.
Yeah.
Well,
But
the
you're right.
politicians.
So it's all about this.
Let's
Exactly
move
about
on.
this.
Let's move
Unions,
on.
politicians.
Sports instead of this. We did this enough. I think it's time to move on to
Political
real
control.
sports now. New York City is really a joke right now, and they're making a mockery of the whole United States, in my opinion. So let's just leave it like that. This AL East, NL East preview. Let's do the American League first. Let's start with our Yankees. And Sis, I'm going to go to you as the Yankee guy. What do you think? What do you think the Yankees' ceiling is? Do you think we can make it to the World Series? What we got? Like, are you happy with what we got? What do you think we need to do to improve?
I think it'll be between the Yanks and the Blue Jays this year. And unfortunately, as early as it is, the analytics will come in. Boone will make the same bonehead moves that he's made the last few years. He'll be controlled by Cashman. We all know what's coming. So that's, it's basically all I really have to say on it. 'Cause again, what's going to be different? You tell me, Kenny, what's going to be different?
Josh Donaldson at third base. You're going to have the same strikeouts. I like Josh Donaldson. Don't get me wrong, but I did not want to lose Gio Urshela.
Right.
Gary Sanchez gone. That's fine. You go in better defense with the catcher. We'll see. But Aaron Hicks still playing in center field. As long as he's there, thumbs down.
Yep.
Aaron Hicks, on any other team would be a backup outfielder or even playing in the Bush leagues. And yet he's bats .220 each year and plays 50 games, and he's Cashman's star player each year.
Sixth inning, the Yankees have one hit. The opposing team has 14. Again, I'm not even trying to be fun. I can't even watch them because it's strikeout. Next inning, strikeout,
Yeah.
grounder. Next inning, strikeout, ground. It's been the same thing for the last 2 years. Disgusting.
I think we're going to be second or third in the division, fighting for a playoff spot.
Yep.
And I also, to end the Yankees, and then we'll move to the next teams. I think Aaron Judge. I said this to Sis, and I said it to before today. Aaron Judge and anyone who wasn't vaccinated was only going to play in New York 72 games because of Toronto's laws.
Right.
You can't go into Canada, and you got 3 games conflicted in New York and New York. So it was only going to be 72 games. I was telling Sis, time to trade the guy if they're going to have this mandate, and then they lifted it. So
well, you don't have to worry about it no more.
So you don't have to worry about it. But Yankees second or third, in my opinion. Let's do Mets, and then we'll go Braves since we're sticking with the New York. Paul, give us a little preview on the Mets. What are your expectations and off-season, and what you're looking forward to this year with the Mets? What you think you need to improve on still?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a realist. A tip of the cap to Beelin's Braves. They're the World Series champions. They're the team to beat in the division. That being said, as usual, the key to the Mets' possible success this year is health. I mean, we got Scherzer, DeGrom, arguably 1A, 1B. How much are they going to be able to pitch? If they pitch 60 games and win, say maybe 45 games, that gives you a real good cushion. They improved themselves all around. They brought some new players in. Marte, I think, if he's healthy, is going to be really good. I think Lindor can't be any worse than he was last year. And I think he's out to prove that he's the all-star that they got from, I guess it's now the Guardians. So I think the DH helps the Mets a lot because with Cano coming back, they don't have to put him at second base except maybe once or twice a year. Once or twice a week. So that's going to help having him at DH. Dom Smith, who is not going to be a regular, but they can also use him as a DH. So given all of that, I think they have an opportunity to compete if they stay healthy. And if they put it all together, can they win the division? Yes, I don't think so. But I would be very disappointed if they didn't at least make it into the playoffs this year, especially with the expanded teams.
Fair enough. Kurt, we'll do AL, NL, AL, NL. Kurt, little Blue Jay talk. Give us some Blue Jays thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, like looking at the roster, listen, Guerrero, Biggio, Bichette, Springer. I mean, just to name, there's, Hernandez. Now they got Chapman. I mean, the lineup is stacked. Again, what's it going to come down to, though? Because pitching always beats hitting. Do they have enough pitching? They made the deal for Berrios.
Robbie Ray is over there.
Right. No, Ray's not there.
Right.
No, Ray's in Seattle. Ray's in Seattle.
Yeah.
What's his name's there? The guy from the Dodgers.
Ryu.
Ryu's there.
Hey, they might have the best pitching in the AL East by far.
They may in East, but there may be like a pitcher away. Like, can they be a team where a team's getting rid of a pitcher and then you get them trade deadline? But their offense, I mean, I don't know. I would take their offense over the Yankees' offense, but I don't know. It's tough. Boston's good too. I mean, Boston's not a joke either. So it's going to be a tough division. But listen, they're going to score a lot of runs. Can they get one more pitcher? If they get one more pitcher, I think they could win the division. Otherwise, I think it's a toss-up, to be honest with you in there.
Okay. Beeling, your Braves, World Series champions. Give us your thoughts on their season. We talked about Freddie Freeman minutes ago.
Yeah, listen, Freeman was tough pill to swallow as a fan, but they picked up Olsen, which was nice. You're getting Acuna back. You're getting MVP Rosario, not MVP. Sorry, Solar went to Miami, which I didn't understand. But you got Rosario back. You got Ozuna back. So we still got our bats back. You know, we're there. I think they're still looking maybe to add one more. I was seeing a lot. They said they actually might be looking into Conforto, which I kind of want, but I don't want. But we have that DH spot open, so you can rotate the outfielders out a little bit. And then listen, Fried was great last year. Charlie Morton was outstanding at 37 years old for us. And Soroka's coming back in May. So I'm actually hyped up to see him. I just want, hopefully, if he can get anywhere near where he was previously to his Achilles injury, I mean, man, the team's gonna be tough again next year. I mean, honestly, I'm only really worried about the Mets just because of the pitching situation. But I don't think they really did anything else to or anybody else in that division to do anything to come near us. And I'm just talking as a Homer fan, but. Plus, we added Jensen too from the Dodgers. Now to be our closer. I mean, listen, people were saying our relief pitching can actually be
He's your closer, right, Beelan? He's the closer.
Yeah, and Will Smith is a great closer for our last year. Matzik was great for us last year in the playoffs. I mean, I'm very happy what they did. You know, even after losing Freddie Freeman. So, yeah, I'm still pushing for another pennant. I don't know about World Series. We'll see again, but definitely want to see Acuna come back. I mean, hopefully that guy comes back with like straight juice.
When's he supposed to come back? Did they say?
Early May. Yeah.
Okay. Paul, our arch sis and mine's enemy and biggest rival in baseball, Yankees, Red Sox. Give us your thoughts on the Red Sox.
Yeah, I guess the story is the Trevor story that they just signed into a long-term deal. He's going to play for them. Their lineup is pretty much set as they had last year. Everyone's coming back. So the key to the Red Sox is going to be pitching. And unfortunately for them, they suffered a big offseason injury to Sale, again, who's constantly been injured the last few years. So they're not sure when he's coming back, and that's going to be a big loss for them early in the season. Their pitching and their defense will only take them as far as their hitting can. So, as Kurt said, pitching always outweighs hitting, and their staff is not that good. So they may do well, but I think it's going to depend on how soon Chris Sale will come back and pitch regularly for them.
Fair enough. I'm going to take the Nationals real quick since they're my backyard here. A couple of years ago, I called them to beat the Dodgers, and they not only beat the Dodgers, they won the World Series. But since then, they've lost some of their pitchers, and one of them, of course, is Max Scherzer. They still got an ace in Steven Strasburg that's coming back this year. And he's one of the best when healthy. But there's your possibility, Kurt, of a trade deadline candidate if Washington's selling. You got Josh Bell over there. You got Patrick Corbin. Corbin has a bounce back year. The team can surprise a little bit, but unfortunately, they're looking ahead of they got to look at the Phillies. They got to look at the Braves. And they got to look at the Mets. All probably better than them on paper, but a couple players to watch out for: Victor Robles, Juan Soto, of course, and I like this kid Carter Kybloom, the third baseman over there for Washington. So if they weren't in the NL East, I would say they'd have a sneaky chance at a wild card, but I just think the division's going to be too tough for them, and I think they're going to be possibly sellers again at the deadline. Sean Doolittle, I'm looking at some of their players that, some of their veteran guys that may be on the move that can help teams if they're having a down year. But that's what I'm looking at the Nationals, unfortunately. Beelan, I don't know if you can do it. I'm sure you can because you're the baseball guy. Little thoughts on the Rays. What's their keys to success every year with such a small payroll? And they seem to just do it every year.
I don't know, man. Honestly, they're like, even though they had a fire sale, but the what's their names? The Oakland Athletics. for some reason they're always there every year. Like they're right in that little cusp of the West, at least, not maybe the playoffs or anything. But the Rays are just they're not young, but it's just like a nice group of guys who know how to play like fundamental baseball, like and they mesh well. So you don't need these flashy players, man. It's like you just got to get people that understand that have like they got the juice to win, and you can play small ball, man. Like you can see they won what they win 100 games last year.
Yeah.
I mean they did take a hit by losing Nelson Cruz. They didn't replace him for anything. That was a big juice of power for over there. But I mean, man,
Little side fun note. My cousin who lives outside of Tampa owns a window company, car windows like Safe Light. He's got his own private company. Signed an account with the Rays and he did Tyler Glasnow's windows a couple weeks ago. He's got pictures of Tyler Glasnow.
Cool.
And Tyler Glasnow told him, he thinks that this was before they started the lockout. He goes, I got a sneaky feeling. I think the lockout's going to end soon. He told my cousin.
Kenny, if I can just add my 2 cents, I see them a lot down here, and I'll tell you, when we're talking about coaches in college basketball, Kevin Cash is one of the best managers in baseball, and able to utilize every one of their players, and they're very big in analytics. I'm not saying I support that 100%, but whatever they do, Cash makes it work for them, and utilizing no big names really, and they're able to get it done year after year after year. So, I mean, the Rays are nothing to sneeze at. They really, really do well for what they have.
Okay, and then Kurt, real quick, because I want to get into football, give us a quick rundown of the Phillies.
Yeah, again, Beelan, I will admit with this, Beelan, that's the best division in baseball, man. I mean, you look at the Phillies, right, and you're like, oh, they can contend anywhere, but I still think they're behind the Mets. They're obviously behind the Braves, but look, they picked up Schwarber, right? Schwarber, of course, Bryce Harper, Remuto, Castellanos, Hoskins, Didi. I mean, that's a nice lineup, Segura leading off. But I guess I'll ask you this, and I'll ask Beelan, because he's our baseball guy. Wheeler, Suarez, Nola, Eflin, and Kyle Gibson from Minnesota. Is that enough pitching in that division or no?
I think so.
I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not putting them ahead of Atlanta, and I'm not putting them ahead of the Mets. Can they be dangerous? Sure. I mean, can they be a wild card team? I would be stunned if they win that division. I think, again, they're more like an American League East team. They'll score runs, but between their bullpen and their starting rotation, I don't know. I'm going to put them third, Kenny, behind, obviously, the Mets and the Braves.
Fair enough. And then I'll just ask a quick hitter question about the Marlins and Orioles. Kurt, Marlins and Orioles, 3-game series. Who takes it?
Marlins.
I'm going to go Marlins.
Okay. And Paul?
Yeah, Marlins.
And Beelan?
Marlins. They got solar now.
Sis?
Yeah, it's unanimous. Marlins.
Okay. Then my last follow-up question. Do we both either or both of these teams or none lose 100 games this year? I think the Orioles
lose 100 games.
I think so too. I think both, because look at the division that the Marlins
I know. That's the thing, Beelan. They're in a tough division, man.
Yeah, but they win last year. Didn't they win like 70-something games last year? Almost 80 games last year?
Mattingly's a good coach. He's very underrated. I'm curious to see the DH rule now, how these managers in the NL are gonna change the way they coach. But let's move on to football, because we're falling behind a little bit. I know the news broke today. Tyreek Hill. Kurt, want to give the quick details on that trade we talked about at the beginning of the show, but you want to just run that over again?
Again, he wanted out. It was the Dolphins and the Jets. They both put up good packages, but I think he went to Miami for 5 draft picks. I think a 1, a 2 this year, and then maybe like a 3, 4, and a 6 or something next year. Hey, he's out of the division. I'm friggin' happy. We don't have to worry about him. The Chiefs take a major, major, major hit It's a lot of money for him, a lot of picks, but he's out of the AFC West.
Yep. Phelan, we asked this question at the beginning of the show before you were on, and Kurt asked it in his quick hitter. I was going to do it in football, but let's ask you where Baker Mayfield's going to play next year.
Carolina or Seattle?
Those are the top two. Yep, those are the top two consensus.
But I'm hoping Carolina, because I want Joe Douglas to go after DK Metcalf.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's do mock draft. Giants, Jets off season, and Bronco Mania to end the show.
Okay.
All right, so mock draft we'll do real quick. Last week we did 5 to 10. This week we got 10 to 15. Paul, you have the Washington Commanders at 11.
Commanders, right? Thank you. So obviously they've traded for Carson Wentz as their quarterback for this year. And I think with that in mind, his pro day yesterday, of which the Commanders were down there to view, I think at number 11, Malik Willis will be their selection at quarterback for the future.
All right, interesting. Because we're not doing trades, and we're just going. That's
Kenny. Real quick, do you have the list real quick that you could just name off?
Yeah.
Just name them off real quick.
Evan Neal went number 1. Aiden Hutchinson number 2.
Yep.
Garrett Wilson 3 to the Texans. Derek Stingley 4. Kayvon Thibodeau 5. 6 was the Panthers. Ike Ekwonu.
Yep.
7 was the Giants. Devin Lloyd. 8 was the Falcons. Sauce Gardner. 9 was Seattle, and Seattle took. I'm drawing a blank. 10 was Jermaine Johnson. Kurt, who'd you take with Seattle?
Was it Dean?
No, I had it written down.
Jermaine Johnson or London?
Jermaine Johnson went 10.
Jermaine Johnson.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. 9 was Sauce Gardner to Seattle. 8 was Drake London, USC.
Okay.
Receiver. That's what it was.
Okay.
So Malik Willis goes to Washington. Mr. Siciliano, you're up with Minnesota.
Yes, before that's announced, Mel Kiper said that the Giants might take Mr. Neal from Alabama. So I'm pretty pumped up about that. I would say this kid, Trent McDuffie from Washington.
Yeah, they need secondary help over there in Minnesota. Yeah. He's probably the best on the board. I like the pick, and I rate that pick an A. What do you
By
guys
the way,
think?
real quick, Coach Breslin saying, no, Paul, we need some offensive weapons. We don't need another QB. Help me out, buddy.
After watching Carson Wentz for 6 games, you're going to wish you had another quarterback.
Phelan, I gave you the Texans again.
The Texans, huh?
They're up because they're the trade with. They got this pick because of their trade this week with the Browns. So this is the Browns pick, but it's the Texans at 13.
All right, I'm gonna go.
We already have Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, nah. Well, they don't have a quarterback. They just have David Mills. So I'm gonna go defense on them. I'm gonna go with Trayvon Walker. Kid out of Georgia.
I like it.
The national champ Bulldogs.
I like it. Kurt Valenti is up with the Baltimore Ravens local team down here.
I'll tell you what Baltimore needs, but Kenny, how do you're looking at the board, right? And you're like, Baltimore, what do they always get? They always find these defensive gems. They're going to take the stud, Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle that ran, what did he run? Like a 4.5 being 400 pounds. I'm taking Jordan Davis, the D tackle, Georgia.
And with the 15th pick, I get the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to take a punter out of Arkansas. No, I'm kidding. I wish I could pick for them because that's what I would do. I'm going to take who I think is the best player available on this board. They're going to have a couple picks coming up. But this kid dropping to number 15, maybe nightmares for us, Sis and Paul. And that's your Notre Dame guy, Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame. Best player available. I think it's a no-brainer to take a kid that slips that far down as their first pick in this draft at 15. So that was our little mock draft. 11-15. We're moving a little fast so we can get everything else in. Paul wanted to bring up Sis and Beelan, a little Giants-Jets offseason review. And Kurt, I guess you can, interject as you want and jump in, but you got Bronco Mania right after this.
Okay.
This segment. And we've got about, it's 8:55, so we'll go about 5 minutes overtime. We'll do about 5 or 6 minutes on Giants-Jets, and we'll do 5 or 6 minutes on Broncos to end the show. You're up, Paul.
So let's do quickly. Give me your feedback, Sis and Kenny, and actually Beelan and Kurt on the Giants offseason so far. Obviously, we were so strapped under the cap that we had to sort of participate in the bargain lane, so bargain aisle. So why don't you give me your feelings of the offseason so far?
Sis, you take it first.
Yeah, I think they made some good acquisitions. Again, being a Giant fan forever, they're gonna need a year or two to rebuild. You're gonna find out, obviously, again for the third time, fourth time, if Daniel Jones is the answer. You're gonna see it early in the season, I believe. And if he's not doing it by the fourth or fifth game, I think you'll see a change there. But again, like I repeat myself, Mel Kiper has us getting Mr. Neal from Alabama. That would be a huge, huge plus for the Giants. And then at number 7, he's got the defensive kid. I believe he's from Oregon, right? So I'm happy. Judge is out of there, so it's a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the Giants this year, and I'm watching Alabama. I wouldn't waste my time, like I said earlier in the show, with all this money and all these people. I'll just watch my Giants, watch Alabama, and I'll be a happy camper. Yep.
Kenny?
Yeah, I'll go real quick and just add to what Sis said. Now, the Giants, you said, Paul, were strapped. We all know they were strapped with money. We got Tyrod Taylor as our backup quarterback. I don't have a problem with that. Some people do. You're not going to have the money, like Beelan said, to go get the Russell Wilsons or the Baker Mayfields. I think it's a great move. It's a quarterback that knows Dable's system. And the mediocre players that we're getting, I say mediocre. I'd rather Joe Shine get mediocre players that he and Dable and Kafka are familiar with, as opposed to going to get somebody off a team that you don't know. Superstars are a different story, but Matt Braid is not a superstar. Feliciano is not a superstar. Shaheed Ward isn't a superstar, but they played under Wink Martindale. They played under Brian Dable. They played under Mike Kafka. There's familiarity there. And that's what I like. Will it work? Who knows? Is it going to get us to a Super Bowl this year? No. But we may be going in the right direction, and these players may be able to help the Giant players that are there now, help them out in the system that we're in. So I am happy with our direction we're going in right now.
Good. I agree. I think, like you said, the players they're getting, whether it's defense, that players that played with Wink Martindale in Baltimore, and the offensive players that they're signing from Buffalo, I think it helps give them some depth. And I think the key now will be filling in a lot of those positions with the draft next month. So we shall see. Beelan, why don't you talk a little bit about the Jets, which I will say, in my opinion, they've had one of the best off seasons out of any NFL team. So why don't you give us some sense of the Jets off season so far?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tomlinson on the line, the guard from San Francisco coming over, knows the scheme. Great pick for us, to be solid, to do all that running. Re-signing Berrios to a good deal, a good friendly team deal, which is a big plus. We signed, needed a tight end. We haven't had a tight end since Dustin Keller, maybe back in 2014 or something. But we signed Azuma and Conklin out of Minnesota, which was nice. You know, he had a good year last year over there. What else did they do? Oh, big sign. I love this kid. I think this kid's gonna be a monster. I was pushing for him, but Jordan Whitehead. This kid, he's Darrell Revis' cousin. He's spoken to him. He got good stuff about the organization. Kid is gonna be a monster. I'm hoping he's gonna be a monster this year.
I saw him a lot down here with the Bucks. So I agree.
He's a beast, man. And the DJ Reed signing. I mean, DJ Reed, and he's not like one of those top tier guys. Nice, maybe like, you know, low B type of cornerback. But he's definitely going to help out. I hope in the draft. I mean, I want Tibbs at 4 because we definitely need an edge rusher. We haven't had an edge rusher since probably like John Abraham or, you know, Calvin Pace back in the day. And then at 10, I kind of want to see them maybe go receiver. I want to see maybe go get a Garrett Wilson, a Drake London, you know, somewhere around there, or, you know, or Sauce Gardner. Sauce is going to be, if the Giants pass, if Sauce is there at 5, if they pass on him, I'm sorry, because for next year, you guys are set up to get rid of Logan Ryan, Jackson, Leonard Williams, and not take major cap hits from them. And those
Logan Ryan's already gone.
Sorry, no, not Logan Ryan.
Bradbury.
Bradbury. Sorry, Bradbury.
Yeah.
You know, if you get rid of three of those guys, they were saying today, if you get rid of 3 of those guys next year, you're saving like 60 million in cap, and you only have like 10 million of dead money, which is like a no-brainer. You know what I mean? And then you can do what you got to go and do and get your defensive pieces, man. I understand the offensive line, Neal or Icky, if he's there, they're great picks too. But man, some of these guys are like generational players that you cannot, you know, they're saying this Sauce Gardner could be almost like a Revis guy. If he could shut down one half of the field, man, that's big for a defense, you know? So, but I don't think Joe Douglas is done yet either. I'm hoping that he goes after some. I'm really pushing to see if they can get DK Metcalf.
John, you know what I heard today? And they were saying on it was probably on either the K or the Alan Hahn and Bart Scott, and they were saying Jet fans got to be happy because this move today that they went for Tyreek Hill, it showed that the Jets are saying, hey, let's win now. You know, like, no 6 years. Let's go now. Like, the Tyreek Hill was a win now.
Yeah.
You got Zach Wilson on his second year out of his next 3 years, right? So you got to do something now for it. And, you know, smashing one of these guys, you know, I was hoping that they would maybe go after Allen Robinson, you know, get another, like, big body receiver. I still think I'm like Michael Thomas was a name that was going around, but his contract is disgusting.
He's going back to Saints.
It's bad, man. He's going to be a Saint for the next like 4 years, the way everything's structured.
I think the best thing for the Jets would be to take a receiver in one of those first 2 picks.
Kenny, real quick, real quick, our good friend Dan Worley saying, "What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday."
Hey, Dan, how's it going, bud?
One more question, Beelan. With what you're seeing in the AFC in this offseason, it seems like every good player from the NFC has gone to the AFC. As much as the Jets have improved, would it be, I don't know, would you feel badly if the AFC has improved so much and you just can't get to that next level because of the improvements that so many teams in the AFC have done this offseason?
I just hope like the AFC West that the teams just beat each other up so bad that there's not a clear front runner. You know, even though like Hill is not in Kansas City anymore, at the end of the day, you still got Pat Mahomes back there. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and like Kurt said, like you're going to have to show up and say like, is this the real Pat Mahomes now? Like, is he that type of guy? Is he going to be like a Tom Brady where he can play with not big names? I mean, he's still got Kelsey, but you know, his receivers are DeMarcus Robinson, Pringle, you know, they're probably
Juju's there.
Juju's there.
Yeah, Juju.
And they actually said, and Sis would love this. They said they might look after Williams over there.
Yeah.
So if they can replace him with Tyreek Hill, I'm sorry. That Hill trade was like a no-brainer for them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's crazy how a team like that can be still good by just one pick. You know, it's so I don't know. It's just crazy, man. It's a crazy offseason. This is one of the craziest off seasons I think.
Well, John, now you said it's so
Said
funny
that.
because Kenny, I wanted to read this. This just came up. They said in a 16-day span, there were 9 trades, and these guys accounted for 39 Pro Bowl selections. Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz, Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper, Yannick Ngakoue, I forget his name.
Ngakwe.
Devontae Adams, Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
Is that crazy?
And there was something else that was added to that. The amount of contract money that was given out. It was like $1.6 billion or something like that.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Okay. Thanks, Kenny.
Oh, you're welcome, Paul. Kurt, let's do Bronco Mania. And I just told you a couple minutes ago, I had a question I think that'll fit in Bronco Mania tonight. If you're okay with it.
Yeah, of course.
My question is going to be, with the Tyreek Hill trade today, and Kurt will go last because he's the Bronco fan. I'll do the order. I'll go Paul, Sis, Beelin, myself, Kurt. Give me a top 5 AFC teams entering today and pre-draft.
All right. I'm not doing this in. Do you want it in order or just 5 teams?
5 to 1 or 1 to top.
Oh, okay.
As of today, after the Tyreek Hill trade.
Okay. All right. I'm going to shock you. I'm going to say the Colts number 5 with Matt Ryan. 4, the 3, the Broncos 2, and the Bills 1.
Okay. Let's go Beelin.
I'm gonna throw crazy ones out there, but I'm gonna work my way backwards. I'm gonna go with Kurt's Broncos as 5. I'm gonna go with the Raiders as 4. I'm gonna go the Bills as 3, the Bengals 2, and the Chargers number 1.
Was it Khalil Mack?
For
Bosa?
everything. Bosa, Khalil Mack, they signed J.C. Jackson, Herbert, they got Mike Williams back.
The SEC of NFL football right there, the AFC West.
Herbert is an alien. I'm telling you right now, this guy's an alien.
So you don't have the Chiefs in the top 5. That's interesting. No. And, I kind of agree there a little bit. I like it. Sis, how about your top 5 after the Tyreek Hill trade?
Von Miller to the Bills, number 1. Kansas City, number 2. I'm going to go with the Bengals 3. Titans 4. And Mr. Valenti's Broncos 5. But Von Miller to the Bills, that's insane.
I'm going to give you mine, and then Kurt, you're going to go, and then you'll get to analyze like where, what you agree with everybody's picks and what you don't. My number 5 is going to be the Titans. You got Derrick Henry over there still. To me, it's still a weak division. They're number 5. Chiefs are still going to be in the top 5. I'm going to give them number 4 because you still got Kelsey. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. You lose Tyreek Hill, you still got weapons there. So I got to throw them in at number 4. Got to throw the Bengals in there at number 3. They still got everybody back. Kurt's Broncos are going to be number 2 after the Tyreek Hill trade. Before Tyreek Hill trade, Chiefs and Broncos were flip-flop. Broncos were 4, but now the Broncos are 2. And Buffalo Bills, number 1 with Von Miller, like Sis nailed it. So I think the Bills are the favorite going in, but Broncos are right under their tail. And Kurt, floor is yours. Bronco Mania, take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to give you mine too. It's kind of almost like Paul's. I'm going to go Cincy 5. I'm going to go Vegas 4 because I think the Chiefs are in a lot of trouble. Major trouble. They lost. Their defense stunk last year, and they're worse this year, losing Mathau, Ward. They lost like 4 starters off that defense. 3, I'm going to shock you. I'm going to go, maybe not early, but I'm going to take Cleveland because they run the ball, they play defense, and now they got Deshaun Watson. Big upgrade over there. I'm going to go Cleveland. I'm going to take my Broncos at 2, and I think the class of the AFC is the Buffalo Bills, especially with Von Miller.
Could I ask you a question, Kurt?
Sure.
Do you think the NFL is going to suspend Deshaun Watson for any length of?
Yes. I think.
Yeah,
I think without a doubt he has to.
He's going to get suspended at least 6 to 10 games.
I say
That's what I
6.
think,
I
too.
say 6 with how it's like they'll cut it to 4 or something like
Right.
that. But I just like that style of play come playoff time. Like they'll run the ball.
I respect the Browns in there. I would respect them at number 5, but to have them that high, they don't have anybody to throw the ball to.
Well,
So
did
they're
you
gonna-
see?
Well, they got Amari Cooper, and then
Yeah.
OBJ actually just came back today.
Yeah,
and
I
said-
saw that.
I
Beelan
didn't see
Beckham
that.
said he wants to come back.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so they're all going there
I
with
saw that
Deshaun
too.
Watson. So
yeah, and I think Buffalo's the class. I mean, you got Josh Allen. The defense was the question mark, but now you're adding Von Miller, Super Bowl 2-time Super Bowl champ, and hey,
this Broncos, this AFC West, and I think Paul and Sis will agree with me. This is going to be like the NFC East of the '90s, where you beat each other up. Curtin always said it. You guys beat each other up, and if you win that division, you got an advantage going into the playoffs.
Yep.
Even with a record, look at the Giants when we beat the Patriots. We were barely into the playoffs, and we went on the road and won 3 big games to get to the Super Bowl, and then beat the undefeated Patriots. You beat each other up so much during the year, and you win 9 or 10 games, you're going to have an advantage in the playoffs. So if you can get that 9 or 10 win in this division, I'll take you in the playoffs. But the thing is, they're going to be beating each other up, so they're all going to be right there. I'd be shocked if someone has less than 7 wins in this division. Shocked.
Yeah.
And I'd be shocked if someone has more than 11 wins in the division.
Kurt, who's your backup in Denver?
we got Rippin, and then they picked up Josh Johnson. Hopefully,
I'm telling you. Let me
Every
tell you
team
this.
he's
Josh
been on
Johnson
every team.
has the best agent out there.
I know he's been on like 19 teams, right?
Really?
So, hey, you want to
19 teams
Kurt,
in
you want to add
place.
anything to Bronco Mania? I wanted to add that question in, but if you want to add anything before
Well,
we
no, you know what?
close up.
I'm going to start with Sis. You got my Broncos, Kansas City, Vegas, and San Diego. Who's the best in that division now, Sis? Especially now with the Tyreek Hills out. Who's coming out? Who's the best team in that division?
Out of the West,
Yeah.
right now, you'd have to say Kansas City and you guys number 2. That's the way I see it.
Beelan?
I'm going Chargers, man. They just made some power moves on defense, and you guys talk about defense. When you
Why are you
got
so playing the Chargers? I don't get
when
it.
you got Bosa and
Mac
coming at you,
Bosa's always hurt, man.
still, I mean,
And their
and
secondary,
you got Derwin James coming at you,
Right.
And
and
JC
Asante Samuel
and
Jr.
That team is going to be tough. And listen, the Raiders are not too far behind it either. With that trade for Adams, you got Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Waller. Josh Jacobs is not a joke. He's still mediocre. It's just Derek Carr's underrated, man. He's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL.
He is. Paul, what's your thoughts on the division?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can put the proverbial postage stamp on all 4 teams. I mean, to me, I think Russell Wilson, especially rejuvenating this Denver team, I would rate them slightly ahead of Kansas City right now, especially without Hill. I mean, and I'm not taking away anything from the Chargers, Beelan. Believe me, like I said, it's going to be that close. Like Kenny just said, it could be, every team could have 10, 11 wins or 8, 9 losses, something like that. It's going to be that close.
And
My thing just real quick. The Broncos. This is what hurts me, and I've heard this about Kirk, is that they have no line, the defensive line, and you got rid of Shelby Harris.
Well, I'll tell you this, Beelan. What you could do, because this is great, because you're a Dak fan. Go back to the NFC playoff game this year, Niners versus Dallas, and watch a guy called DJ Jones
Yeah.
and watch a guy, Kwan Williams, just absolutely light
No.
Dak up. Two big spots going.
I'm with you. The Jets were looking at DJ Jones too. Like I know him. He's good. I just feel like I don't know. Honestly, I hope you guys can trade Chubb and get something valuable for him because he didn't pan out. I don't know if he's going to pan out, and it's a year where right now it's like he's playing for a contract. So
Well,
See, I'm sorry, Kurt.
Go ahead,
I disagree with you, Beelan, because with Randy Gregory on the other side, I think he's going to balance out Chubb. And I think, if anything, Chubb is going to have an all-pro season.
The problem with Randy Gregory is that he has to stay healthy. He's never healthy.
Well, of course, it's a big if, but he's a great pass rusher. But here's the thing: when you talk about Chubb, right? And I'll say this, and because everybody said Von Miller was washed, right? Remember, Von Miller's washed. Then he goes to the Rams, and it's Von Miller again. But you know why? And it's no excuse for Chubb. He has to play better. But in the last 4 years, do you know? I'm not even joking. There probably wasn't 6 or 7 games in those 4 years where in the third quarter or beyond, the Broncos had a lead. And you know what? Those teams never respected our offense. The offense has just said, just run the ball. If we run it and punt, Denver's only going to score 14 points. Those days are over now. They're over with Russell Wilson. It's over. We get leads. Now you're going to see Chubb. Now you're going to see Gregory. Now you're going to see like how it was the old days with Von Miller when you always had the leads with that defense. It's a big difference when you're rushing as opposed to playing the run because the team don't respect your offense. Kenny, what's your thoughts on the division?
Today, I'm telling you, I think it's the Broncos division, and I'll explain why real quick. Russell Wilson, in my opinion, as crazy as this sounds, I think he's a little underrated in the NFL. He's had, in his career, 1 losing season. 1. And that was when he had his broken finger this past year. That's it. Now he's going to a team, and he better make, if not, then get him out next year. But Jerry Jeudy, no excuses.
Yep.
You're
Sis said it last week. Sis said it last week.
Number 1 receiver taken out of the draft before Jefferson and Ruggs. Now you show your talent. Okay? You got somebody throwing you the ball like Russell Wilson. You don't have Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, Rippin. You don't have them throwing the ball.
Yep.
Time for him to step up. Cortland Sutton's going to be just like DK Metcalf. Now it's time for Noah Fant to step up. Running game's going to be great with Russell Wilson there. They're not going to be able to stack the box.
Yep.
Quarterback is so important for a receiver. Kenny Golladay was a stud in Detroit with Matthew Stafford. Daniel Jones got hurt. Kenny Golladay was a no-show all year with Jake Fromm and Mike Glennon throwing him the ball.
Of course.
So watch out for Jerry Jeudy as like a monster year. And I think they're going to win the division, Kurt. I do.
Listen,
and I'll tell you right now, I agree with Beelan, though, because we all say defense wins championships. The Chargers are right there with the Broncos defensively. So those are my top 2 teams in the AFC West.
Kenny, I look at it like this, and you know what? People that people keep going and saying, why the hell are you going to pay, why are you going to pay Aaron Rodgers $50 million, right? And Beelan just said before, right, Beelan, you said it. Devontae Adams is worth the $30 million, right? Okay. Go watch that game, Kansas City, Green Bay last year. Now, Kansas City's defense stinks. They stink, right? They stink. Go watch Jordan Love throw the ball to Devontae Adams. He was a no-show. So, Kenny, you're right. It's all about the quarterback. I don't care how good you are a receiver. The quarterback makes the receiver. Receiver's never going to make a quarterback.
I honestly think Kenny Golladay is a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. But you don't have a quarterback?
Right. Well, I'll tell you this. I was telling Jen, and I was laughing before. I know I heard Sis before when I was talking to you, said Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the quarterback for Miami. Well, I'll tell you this. If Tyreek Hill's running a 70-yard pass, he ain't getting the ball from Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, maybe he better get a jug machine thrown to him.
That's what I was saying on Twitter. I was like, you know what? everyone's like, "Oh, I hope Tyreek Hill gets hurt and everything." I was like, "No, let Tua get hurt because then Teddy Bridgewater can come and he can throw his 5-yard little dumps all over the
Right,
place,
5-yard
and I'm
little
good to
dumps to
go."
Tyreek Hill. So, that's when people just talk about Aaron Rodgers. You watch Aaron Rodgers, you watch Jordan Love versus that Chief game. It was not pretty. And Devontae Adams was a no-show because Aaron Rodgers makes Devontae Adams. That's how it goes.
Kurt, here's the other thing that I want to say. You bring in a guy like Russell Wilson, a Hall of Famer, the effect that he has.
Oh, all over.
Exactly.
All over.
I mean, do you think the Denver players, if they get behind by 14 points, say against the Chargers or against
No.
Oh my God, we're not forget it. That's it.
No.
We have a chance every time he goes out there on the field.
Paul, they said this, Paul. They said now this is a team that won a Super Bowl, right? They won a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. They said hands down from day one, it's this the Denver offensive line is the best offensive line he's had. And
yeah, I heard that.
Their offensive line's been terrible in Seattle. So hands down, you got Javonte Williams, and I mean, listen, this team's going to beat this. They're going to be good, and it's a move they had to make. It's who cares about the draft picks? Who cares? Go get them. They got them. And you know what? You went from a team that, we're going to win 7 games to you have the 3rd best odds to get to a Super Bowl, 4th best odds in the NFL. It's just like that. It changes, and you got to do it. So I'm pumped up. And that's it, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Great show tonight, guys.
Let's do final thoughts. Let's do final thoughts. Mr. Beelan, final thoughts. You start us off.
Wild NFL. I hope more happens every couple days. I don't know what else could happen, but you went from gambling guys from gambling on their teams to guys not getting charged with stuff. People just throwing away draft picks all over the place. That's that. Baseball starting. I'm hyped up. Let's go. What else is there?
Coach Breslin saying a good show as always.
Thanks, Coach. By the way, Bill, nice job on between the innings.
Yeah, awesome. I watched it on Saturday. Very good.
It was cool. It's good. It's a good thing with some baseball talk. Caleb has a couple of good stuff that's going on. Check it out if you guys can. And that's it. That's it for me.
Mr. Sis, final thoughts.
Yeah, it'll be a few more surprises in the NFL. I don't think many. Like I said earlier, Baker doesn't go to Seattle. He's going to be a backup somewhere. I'm guessing that. But overall, it's been an interesting week. Actually, last 2 weeks. So that's it.
I'll go next. Enjoy the Sweet 16. I'm pumped up. I really hope Gonzaga wins this thing. I want to see them do it. They've been the best team in college basketball that probably hasn't won a title in a long time. So I'm rooting for them. NFL, like Beelan said, I'm just looking through my phone. I go to lunch today. I look and it says Tyreek Hill's about to be traded. Like, this is just nuts. Like, every day something big's happening. I love it. It's like the NBA offseason. And listen, I'm just Beelan saying worrying about baseball. Let's just get to minicamp, man. Russell Wilson and this team. I'm stoked. I'm pumped. Paul.
Yeah, March Madness, baseball's back. NFL never has left. What more can you want at this time of year? So great show, guys, as usual. Thanks.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, take us away.
Lots of fun tonight, guys. I'm gonna just do stat real quick with Kenny Galladay, and this is towards Jerry Jeudy. 2020, he was hurt. We're going to scratch 2020. I'm just going to do 2018 and 2019 with Matthew Stafford throwing Kenny Galladay the ball. 2018 in 15 games, 1,060 yards, 6 touchdowns, 7 receptions over 40 yards. 2019, 1,190 yards in 16 games, 11 touchdowns, 6 balls over 40 yards. 2021 with the Giants, 542 yards, 0 receptions over 40 yards. With Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm throwing you the ball, you can see the difference.
And I gave him $19 million. Good job.
Jerry Jeudy will have that monster double-digit touchdown He'll be Tyler Lockett this year.
Yep. No, Tyler Lockett's going to be KJ Hamler for them. Don't forget about
Oh,
it.
forgot about KJ Hamler on the
The home
forgot
run
about
hitter.
him. Broncos and Chargers will be fighting for the division. That's my
$19
final
million
thought.
did have 500 yards catching a ball. Are you kidding me?
Just
I
don't
could have did that.
Guys, Kenny, real quick, tomorrow, 6 o'clock to 7, we're doing our wits and wagers. We're going to pick every college basketball game. So if anyone wants to jump on with us, we're going to pick our games
6
tomorrow.
to 7. We're going to be first game's at 7:09, so we're going to try and get off by 7 to give you our picks.
Yep.
So you
Keep
can get
all
your
these
bets in.
amateurs off the show tomorrow night.
There's the sis we know.
There he is. He's back. All right, boys, have a good night.